them fight and argue with each other. So I understand. So that's the same like God has the same mind. I think if we fight each other, we argue each other, maybe God will be sad. And in church, if we fight one another, maybe our pastor will be very sorry. So I think this passage, I really, touched my mind, and I really agree, that we need to live in peace for God and for our pastor. So I think, yeah, God is our spiritual parent, and to make him the most happy, we must become united together and love one another. This really touched my mind. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Billy Guan, and Raji, thank you for joining us. We are on page 47, and we're on the second paragraph. I'm gonna read the next paragraph. Why did God forbid Adam to eat from the fruit of good and evil? Because if you eat this fruit, you'll be divided or separated. God and man, Adam and Eve, and Cain and Abel, everyone was really divided. This was very difficult for God to endure. So as a result, God decided to destroy Adam, Cain, and Abel in order to create a new seed or new gene. He cleared off the old history and started a new one with Seth. In this genealogy, Jesus was born, and through him, everyone could be united together as one. Anyone who took the fruit of good and evil couldn't become one. If we don't know about good and evil, we can very easily become one. I want to say something about this on this paragraph, and it said like God decided to destroy Adam, Cain, and Abel in order to create a new seed or new gene. So, as for me, if I apply this to my my life in, like my life in status quo, I would say like all the past that I've done, especially like in my marriage life, because I'm married. Once you're married, you have nothing but your married life. Like, all your life before the marriage doesn't even matter at all, right? So everything starts afresh from your wedding day, basically. So if I look back on my married life, marriage life. Like, it's about time. I totally agree where Reverend Lee said, like, Adam, Cain, and Abel need to be destroyed in order to create a new seed or new gene. So I believe I am the carrier of the new gene. So, so I am here with all of you so that my new seed, my new gene can be securely implanted or planted so that it would grow healthy and strong, right? Because the seed of God definitely needs to grow and mature and be plentiful. So I'm very grateful for this message because there's no way I can deal with the past, but because God has promised the new seed. So I am very hopeful in this new seed as well. Thank you. Jubek 언니, do you want to carry on?
You mean the testimony or the textbook?
You can share your testimony or you can read the next paragraph.
Short testimony after. Okay.
Both.
Yeah.
Or both.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Thank you.
Okay.
And I feel very powerful with the textbook because, I had to listen before, but today I have the book. And you said if your life seems hopeful. I agree. I definitely agree with you. Even I see some things that happened before when I say, even I said I got the new life, I felt failed, but I don't feel that way anymore. because whatever I feel failed or not, it doesn't matter because as you listened to last week's message, now I can see there is a kind of the people say trauma, but in the church it says there is a Satan who always try to deceive you, not to be part of the God's plan. So because of that, after listening to that message, no longer I feel I failed or not, because there's always Satan's deceives. They say, get away from God's plan. That kind of whispering. You are not suitable. You don't deserve God's plan. Look at you. So I thought that is my conscience, but it's not. Even the seed is definitely planted. I don't need to look back. I don't need to look what I am, and because there is God's plan from the beginning. So that's why my life seems very hopeful. Okay, let me go on. If you take that fruit, you will surely die. Death here means the relationship between you and I will be broken. The relationship between God and man, husband and wife, and father and son, all will be shattered and broken. The death means cutting off the relationship and being broken. Even if we die, if the relationship was still connected, this death wouldn't be a problem, but on the day of this death, everything is cut off. If you eat of it, you will surely die. I've experienced this death and being alive in close relationship. The relationship with my parents and my husband and children. So I know what it is like to have a broken relationship. That is death, because even you try hard, you don't get connected. It's just like when you try to connect to someone who dies, you can't. You just can see them in your dream, but that you don't really feel connection. That was I felt in long time before I truly got this message. Now I see those kind of relationship, broken relationship is being alive. Just like you got a very successful surgery and your nerves start to make you feel things, even though you can feel pain because your nerves back, the nerves start to work. So that's why when I feel pain in relationship, after I got this message, now I take it like, okay, I'm still alive. My nerve is working. So kind of the pain of a growth. So I know what it is like had to have your life with a broken relationship. Thank God. Okay, you go ahead.
I will read the next paragraph. Uh, we eat. If we eat Jesus Christ, we will become like him. Why did Jesus say, "You eat and drink of me"? He meant, if you eat my flesh and drink my blood, my life will be in you. If you don't eat my flesh and don't drink my blood, my life won't be in you. But if you eat me, I will reside in you forever. Yes. I mean, it's when I first meet this church, the evil and good and evil is the same fruit. Is from the same fruit. It was very shocking. Because I don't think that good is good, and bad, devil is devil, evil is evil. But I don't think that they are from the same root, but it's all from the same root. The problem is, someone think that he is a right person, then it is more dangerous than the person who think he is the bad person. I mean, because he think that he is on the right side, that's why he have no any space to accept other people. Because so that's why he insist his way and his thought very far from other people. So sometimes they will destroy, other people because they think they are on the right side. We can see the history, evidence. We have many kinds of many the kind of history evidence, and so that is very dangerous. When I think that I'm right, I yes, then it means that you are wrong. I'm right, then it means that you are wrong. I don't I don't have any space to accept you. And the relationship, you know, will automatically spontaneously be broken because no room to understand other people. So that's why it is kind of, the relationship is no more, last. Um, it's so first in the church, I learned that not to judge on other people. Put my thought down, and and then I try to accept other people, because if I know I am nothing, then I can accept everything. 어, 패드 써야 되는데. Okay, yes, that's all.
I'll go ahead and read the next part. The reality of the Ephesian church was quite the opposite. Jesus wanted to communicate with the fruit of life, but in reality, the Ephesian church was very poor, even though outwardly they were very abundant. To the angel of the church in Ephesus, write, "These are the words of him who holds the 7 stars at his right hand and walks among the 7 gold lampstands. I know your deeds, hard work, and your perseverance. I know you cannot tolerate wicked men, that you have tested those who claim to be apostles, but are not, and you have found them to be false. You have preserved and have endured hardships for my name, and haven't grown weary. Yet I hold this against you. You have forsaken your first love. If you do not repent, I will come to you and remove your lampstand from its place. But you have this in your favor. You hate the practices of Nicolaitans, which I also hate. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. To him who overcomes, I give the right to eat from the tree of life, which is the paradise of God, which is in the paradise of God. I think the next paragraph kind of goes along with this. Not the next two here. Yeah, I'm going to read the next two. And it's not human love or passion. You have deserted your first love. If you repent and turn back, I'll give you the fruit of life. So in this context, we can learn that the love belongs to the life and is the outcome of the life. Independent love doesn't exist separately. The love of a mother can only exist when a woman becomes a mother. The love of a mother can't exist separately, and it can only be produced by a mother. It's just an expression of the mother's heart. You have deserted your first love, means you're cut off from the life. You have all kinds of good things, but you're far away from the life and the tree of life. I guess if just the message that I get is just that there clearly are things in life that are more important than others. And as this, what we've been reading so far reveals, it's that, the source of our existence, the seed, it's so important to, keep that in mind and not lose, the love for the one that created us in that context. And I'm also thinking that in biology, there's there are concepts, the genotype and the phenotype. Does those words, okay, so a genotype is, we hear a lot about DNA, the 4 letters that in various combinations make the difference between you and me and, us as an individual and every other individual on the planet. Very unique, extremely rare that, 2 people would have the same DNA. But phenotype is how those genes are expressed. And so people having the same, even though we don't have the same genotype, we all have a lot of the very same genes. And these genes, the way in which they are expressed has a lot to do with the environment, whether that be, food or the people we're around or, climate, various factors. So in different situations, the same genes will express in different ways. And so I think part of the challenge is that, the message is continuously, we, see Jesus on the cross and recognize that, that's us. This is the message that I hear, from the church, and so it comes back to what's the message of the cross then? How did Jesus express himself on the cross? And it came back to, not my will, but thy will be done. So So that's my takeaway from what we've read so far.
Is it phenotype is like the word from phenomena? Phenomenon.
I don't know if it relates to phenomenon or the roots there, but just the definition of it. I don't have a dictionary here, but my understanding is it has to do with how a gene is expressed.
Mm-hmm.
And in some situations, the gene will express in one way. In another situation, it'll express itself in another way. Same gene, but just different expressions based on the situation in which that gene has an opportunity to be expressed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I see my nieces, they were born in Korea, but when they are very little, they went to States, and not my nieces. And when I see Korean kids who are grown up there, when they smile, I can tell difference. They look Asians. When they smile, they are different from just the kids here. So their genes haven't changed, but depending on the environment, I can tell they could be seen differently. And you just mentioned, they say the Jesus on cross. That cross can be different depending on the person, but in our lives we face that situation here. So let's say the church people here, they are from all directions. They're from all environments, and then, but they are here together. They are here together and say something in common, but we are still different. As you just mentioned, in genes, there is something in common, but the other parts are different. But as you mentioned today, a lot is still in common. Let's say, I've never feel this close to people, even to my parents. But here, it is amazing because when I meet you first time or a long time, I see something in common. When I remember when I had the first church meeting in my place, there are old lady. I tried to be nice to her. As listening to her, and then when it was my turn to talk, she understood what I was talking. It was shocking. I didn't understand her fully, but after I tested my testimony, she mentioned about my testimony as understanding me fully. After that, I didn't try, I don't need to try to be just nice to listen to other people, because just Minister Lee too, when I listen to his message, he's talking, say, what I can understand. I couldn't make in forms. I couldn't make it expressed, but when he expresses what what he thinks or what he knows. At that very moment, I feel like I know what you are talking about. So just like when I listen to him, he's expressing, let's say, myself. That's why I say, just like he was in my situation. So I could say the cross we face can be different, but there is always that moment, that spot. I see myself. I'm just like I'm lost, or I don't know what's next, or I don't know anything at all. And then and also I feel very let's say, anyway, that moment it happens at that moment where God is working, start to work on me. And so that's why, and when you said when you read the last one, to him who overcomes, I will give the right to eat from the tree of life, which is in the paradise of God. You say this overcoming is not like I overcome with my trial or power. This overcome means I got acknowledged. I didn't lead my life. I've been deceived, and also at the same time I've been led by something else. So I just that this overcoming means this is not my life. I didn't start my life. That kind of overcoming of all possibilities can be from me. That overcoming, I can say. So when I realize myself as a creature, so I don't try to be somebody else. I am just I admit myself as a creature, and I feel free to be better, and that liberation makes me feel I'm nothing but can be everything, and kind of that moment is I say I see myself admitting myself a creature, and I'm a person listen to something or somebody, and also need to be led by something or somebody. That moment is the liberation of myself, and also at the same time that spot is where God can work freely, using me as just let's say empty vessel. So I can be myself as a creature. God can be himself as a creator. So I think that is overcoming from all the say Satan's tries. Yeah, I'd like to say that. And also the first love. Yeah, first love. After I been here in this church, and I've been saying bad thing about myself and to the others. But when I look back, when I met this church for the first time, when I met this message for the first time, I know I have nothing to complain, because all is better than yesterday.
Amen. Wow. Sibel is so poor in spirit. Okay, thank you for sharing your testimony. And Mishek, are you the next one to read on?
Maybe where do you stop? In the tree of life? So it's what was lacking for Adam, right? Yeah. He didn't own the fruit of life, which means he didn't own the true life. Winners means the overcomers or conquerors. We must overcome all the desirable and plausible things of the world, such as patience, hard labor, rejecting evil people, and hate, and to hate the Nicolaitans, etc. They search out the path that leads to the path of the tree of life. These people are the winners or overcomers. The world is conquered by false things, not by the fruit of life. We can see the same reality in the false and worldly churches. People who can distinguish accurately are the overcomers. If you don't or can't distinguish the difference, will unconsciously eat the food all mixed together. Therefore, in the world and in the church, we must distinguish between what is true and a false life and what's edible from what is poisonous. If you want to lead a normal church life, you must at least be able to distinguish what to eat and what not to eat. I think that is one thought. Yeah.
Yeah. Michelle, would you like to
in
share?
the meantime, I don't have anything to share about this.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yes, yeah, I think if you want to lead a normal church life, you must at least be able to distinguish what to eat and what not to eat. Yeah, it's really touched my mind, and yeah, we have to know what to eat and what not to eat. It's very important things for us to distinguish. So yeah, in church, I have heard a lot of testimonies, but some testimonies are not very good. So in that situation, I try not to eat the testimonies, but I try to eat any kinds of testimonies, but some testimonies are from secular viewpoint. So in this situation, I try not to eat, just listen. But yeah, to make testimony and your testimony and besides your testimony, I try to eat. Yeah, it's very good food. So I try to eat these kind of testimonies, but some very few testimonies I don't want to eat because they are from secular ways. But I just listen. So the Bible says, quick to listen. Everybody should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get angry, become angry. So I try to listen carefully, but I try to distinguish whether to eat or not. So sometimes it's important for us what kind of food to eat. Okay, for example, spoiled food. We have not eat spoiled food. Okay. Maybe last year I ate a very spoiled food. I had some digestion problem. So spiritual world, we have to be careful what kind of things we have to eat. Okay, so yeah, it's very important passage. If you want to lead a normal church life, you must be able to distinguish what to eat or not, and what not to eat. So it's very important, I think, lesson for us. That's all.
I think that what to eat, I think about the what to eat and which is what not to eat. Huh? So what to eat is it means that the fruit of life, and one not to eat is the fruit of good and evil. I mean, judge other people, and you know, the kind of things is is from the fruit of good and evil. So that's why that is the what not to eat. But what is that the fruit of life then? The fruit of life. I think that I don't know exactly what is the fruit of life, but you know, something I feel I'm the united in with you. If I, you know, the something makes me united with the brothers and sister, then I think that it is the fruit of life. But the something that, you know, uh, divided from my brother and sister, then it is the fruit of good and evil. So that's what we have not to eat. Yes, I mean, you know, united, understand the other people, you know, that I think that that is the really important. I mean, you know, it's a kind of relationship. The text said that you know, the life, I mean, you know, you surely die, then it means the relationship will be broken. So the life is a relationship. I mean, you know, so how then I feel when I was feel that I'm connected to my brothers and sister, or when I feel you know, I'm united with the brothers and sister. Hmm. I mean, you know, so recently I found that it is very not easy to understand, you know, other people's mind. Especially, I have some problems with my wife, and I feel it is very hard to understand, you know, my wife. Uh, uh, and so
Yeah, judging. Is it kind of she just disturbing you even you have on Skype asking something?
Or she might be listening in the background right there.
no, you know, so I think that you know, because it is very hard to accept her, because I feel my ego in myself, in myself. I mean, you know, I cannot put my thought down you know, before her. And so that's why I can have no any space to, you know, accept her and embarrass her. I mean, you know, that's why I think that I'm kind of something then, you know, there is no space to, you know, uh, understand her. But it means that understand, it means that stand under, you know, I have to, if I want to understand other people, then first I have to stand under, you know, the person, the person. But it is very hard to be, you know, stand under the person. So it's very hard to understand other people, the persons, you know, even even she is my wife, because I want to stand up, stand on her, you know, stand up for her. So that's why it's very hard. So, but you know, to be united with her, you know, I have to. At first, I think that I have to put my thought down. It means that I stand under her. then it is a first step to first step to, be close to her. So it's the same in the church. We always say that we have to know we are nothing. We are soil. That means that we are located on the bottom. That means that we know our locations, that we are nothing. Then it is the starting point to to be united with the brothers and sisters in the church. That's all.
Now you cannot talk freely. She can overhear you. Anyway. Hi,
I
Young.
mean, I think like what you said is, I mean, I think that you always speak a lot more honest when you speak in English, because you never talked about that in Korean. It's kind of, yeah, because I always talk about my husband, and Drajin never talked about his wife. So it's kind of I mean, like find somehow see the common ground in a little, in a way. Anyways, so I think when I was listening to Drajin's testimony, I mean, oh, look at that. Young one is, yeah, she's got her hair tied up like a mute.
What?
Well, Genghis Khan. She's
Oh.
the heir of the king and stuff. Anyways, so I'm like, in the Bible, there's a verse that says like, eat my flesh and drink my blood. I think in order for you to be actually united with the other partner or the counterpart, you just have to be eaten by them. And that's the only way you can be one with them. So what I mean by eaten by them means like, you just, give yourself to them, and then they will eat you, right? They will devour you and they will like, finish you and stuff. But then in that sense, you are taken by them, and then you become the part of them. And then you actually, live the life. So I think I was actually sharing this with some other meeting. And then I realized that, like in the church, when we say, we look at Jesus, and we always say like, look at the Jesus on the cross. And mainly like, that's what Reverend Lee talks about all the time these days. And then when we say, look at the Jesus on the cross, and I was thinking, okay, so then what do I do here? And then I realized I am like the Jesus, but Jesus is the mediator that uh, unites God and mankind. That's the whole. That was the only reason that he went to the cross, in order to unite the mankind and and God. So like, we read about today's text as well. We talked about like this, not, kill the Adam, kill Cain and Abel, and then Seth came, right? So I think that's what it's all about. So I realized then, yeah, I am also like Jesus. And when I go to the people in the world, I'm not just going there as roaming. It's not, if I go to them and approach them, and, if I, um, were to live with them in my own flesh, like, roaming, then I would be always, very regretful, or very, sorry that not many people are actually meeting up to my demands, or meeting up to, satisfy what I want or what I need from them. But if I go to them in the name of Jesus, we can also say that. And if I go to them as the Jesus on the cross, if I go to them, approach them as the mediator, then I think that's what God wants us to do. I think he wants not just Jesus, but each and every one of us to be the mediator, go between, that connects people in the world with God. So, I mean, like, I understand that we have a really big responsibility as the representative of God and the expression of God. And so that we have, this very, this very heavy duty upon us kind of thing. So, I mean, that was one thing that recently struck me, you know, as I was sharing this with other church brothers and sisters. So I just wanted to, yeah, talk about it. So, anyways, thank you.
Yeah.
And by
Why are you wearing mask?
because I'm cleaning my house and my house is so
Oh, okay.
dirty, and I might get sick from the dust.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's why. Yes. And I also think I'm a lot prettier with my mask on. Okay. For all of you. Yes.
Of course, that's a joke.
Uh,
Um,
I'd like to share things. Uh, okay. These days, I feel myself, I owe things. When I met this message, uh, when I met Mr. Guan, a church brother, I was hopeless. No, there, you know, I feel there's no way out, dead end. That's why I try to find a person. It was him. As I told you before, I tried to contact him because it's not because I remember things, what he said. It's because I just remember he tried to say something. He said something, what I totally didn't get anything. I just wonder what he was trying to say, because I would say I tried to keep the life go on, but that was say I felt myself I was standing at the cliff. One more step, just I might fall off the cliff. Before that decision, I need to, you know, kind of try to find a kind of, if I just wondered if there's any hidden card, a way out. That was him. I just contacted him without any big hope. I just wanted to ask him what he tried to say to me, because he looked very serious. That is how I start the new life here. So when I look back, when I met this message for the first time, there was empty vessel. The message says we human are empty vessel, and so I saw hope there. I didn't have to change myself. If I'm an empty vessel, I didn't have to change my the shape. The thing inside the vessel matters, not me. I think I saw hope there for the first time in my life. Me myself is doesn't matter. What I hear, what I see, that can be expressed. If I don't like myself, it's because of the things inside me. Because I am just the image carrier. I'm not the image itself. So about the relationship, healthy relationship, I'd like to say this way. When I was pregnant, I was quite old. And also there's the family history. My family, my brother is handicapped. And I was afraid. I was afraid to getting married and especially having baby. And I had to try things I could, kind of the food first. I just had, you know, I didn't mind having junk food, hamburgers. McDonald's is my favorite one. And I didn't like Korean traditional food, kimchi or doenjang, because they look terrible and they smell terrible. But when I got, got pregnant in my old age, I changed my diet and I tried to work out every day, not to have handicapped baby. You know, and also I tried to study how to breastfeed, and you know, after I thought it was enough. It was kind of about 1 year or after I delivered the baby. My husband and I go to McDonald's to have a hamburger. I couldn't finish one because all the chemicals. I couldn't finish it. It was, you know, I was looking forward to having that hamburger when time comes, but I couldn't finish one hamburger. So now I see when you become healthy, naturally your body needs healthy food. When you get used to junk food, you're also looking for junk food. It is so now I see, and also all the matters. It basically depending on what the relationship is between me and God. So whenever I see problems in the relationship, I just kind of going back to the starting point. The relationship between God and me. That was a starting point. When you, my friend once wrote a poem. So when you see yourself, you got lost, you go back to where you were. That starting point is the relationship between God and me. He was pleased after he made me. That is where I start again. So he was pleased with me, and I'm that person. I'm that creature. So when I see others, they are also that creatures. So I cannot blame them, just like I cannot be blamed. And as I told you, I feel I owe God and I owe church and my life. So I'm a debtor. Debtor is a good anyway. So I owe my life. That's why when I see people, okay, I become alive. This life is just a kind of second chance to make. Not I don't do that, but to see the different expressions because of the different life. I'm enjoying it too, because it's totally different than I expected and I've seen in my parents' life. Because all I desire is not a good thing. All I desire is not. I don't want to be like my mom. I don't want to be. I don't want to have the life as my parents do. So, but this life is different. So, I'm in a kind of a new circle of life. So I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying watching it, and also because of it is so brand new to me, and I like to boast to the others, whoever I meet. That is my joy in my life. So when what I want to say is when I see difficulty or any difficulties or not healthy relationship, I myself, it is time for me to be healthy. I myself need to be healthy again. David must have some problem, but when I'm healthy, emotionally or physically, I see things differently. So all matter is the relationship between me and God, and I can get refreshed and healthier. That's my kind of way, kind of secret to be healthy.
I still love McDonald's and
Yeah.
French fries.
Mm-hmm. You,
But not very often. Just
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, normally I am quite healthy, but every so often my body says it's time to take a break, do some clean out, and so I think that's what's happening here. But I wanted to thank Jubek and Joajin for two things that I made that kind of stood out. One is Jubek said, you know, when there's a problem in a relationship, go back to the starting point. And I think that's, you know, good to keep in mind, not only for just individual relationships, but essentially that's the whole, you know, church life message in a nutshell, from what I understand, is go back to the purpose for which we were created. And then Joajan I said something about understand, you know, being stand under, which I'd never heard. You know, the concept of you know, preferring others, you know, to myself is one I'm familiar with, but just I'd never heard the I've heard understand all my life, but I've never heard the concept of stand under as a means to assist in understanding. So, but the I also wanted to read part of what we read here, and then share something that was part of my morning devotion, because it seems to relate to that to me. They searched out the path this is bottom or page 49. They searched out the path that leads to the path of the tree of life. These people are the winners or overcomers. The world is conquered by false things, not by the fruit of life. We can see the same reality in false and worldly churches. People who can distinguish accurately are the overcomers. If we don't or can't distinguish the difference, we'll unconsciously eat the food all mixed together. And that reminded me of what I'd, you know, part of my, you know, morning readings, and this comes from a document called The Prosperity of Humankind. It says, since then, the challenge is the empowerment of humankind through a vast increase in access to knowledge. The strategy that can make this possible must be considered around an ongoing and intensifying dialogue between science and religion. It is, or by now should be, a truism that in every sphere of human activity and at every level, the insights and skills that represent scientific accomplishment must look to the force of spiritual commitment and moral principle to ensure their appropriate application. People need, for example, to learn how to separate fact from conjecture. Indeed, to distinguish between subjective views and objective reality. The extent to which individuals and institutions so equipped can contribute to human progress, however, will be determined by their devotion to truth and their detachment from the promptings of their own interests and passions. Another capacity that science must cultivate in all people is that of thinking in terms of process, including historical process. However, if this intellectual advancement is to contribute ultimately to promoting development, its perspective must be unclouded by prejudices of race, culture, sex, or sectarian belief. Similarly, the training that can make it possible for the Earth's inhabitants to participate in the production of wealth will advance the aims of development only to the extent that such an impulse is illumined by the spiritual insight that service to humankind is the purpose of both individual life and social organization. So anyway, I just, for me, the search for truth has been, a driving force in my life. I can remember I've told this story before, I think, but, as a young kid, possibly less than 10 years old, I remember that our garbage collector, big old black guy, would I'd talk to him when he'd come to pick up our garbage, and I can remember one day him telling me something that was so profound. I thought, I don't care if the garbage man said it or Jesus said it. If it's true, it's true. And the that that concept of how important truth is at such a young age, for me, has been a major driving force. So I'm always trying to distinguish what is the difference between truth and reality, or truth and falsehood. And so I kind of get caught up sometimes in this, the eating from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And some people translate that as right and wrong. And but it does seem to me that there is something called, there is a truth, and it's that truth, whether it be of how we were created, why we were created, or I think is there a verse where Jesus is the truth and the life, or something of that nature, and the truth shall set you free. I don't know how many of those are biblical or just that I somehow associate them with the Bible, but truth, has always been a major, like I say, a driving force. I'm always looking for truth in any situation and in any relationship.
Well, I have a question. How can you be so sure it is truth or not?
Well, that's the big question, and I don't think. I think that is where the difference between the eating from the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil is where it's differentiated. Because while I strive, I'm 69 years old. I've been trying to find, truth for
69
consciously for at least 60 years.
Wow.
And so, for me, I may feel very confident about what the truth is in any given situation, but I don't feel confident enough to tell someone else this is truth. To me, that gets into this realm of right and wrong. I really haven't thought about it that way until meeting Ruth and becoming more familiar with the church life message and how much emphasis they put on that. But it's, I may believe something that there's no question in my mind whatsoever that this is not true. But at the same time, if I lay out the evidence and somebody else doesn't recognize that also as truth, then who am I to say whether it's true or not? I don't know. I guess that's, I respect everybody's right to make their decision about what truth is from their perspective. And I would appreciate the same respect, from others, that I may be right, I may be wrong, but this is what I believe. These are the conclusions I've come to. And I think at the end of the day, it's we can only go on what resonates, what the truth is in ourselves. We can't, I think if we live our lives dependent on what somebody else's truth is, then I think we're at risk of, we die to ourselves, essentially.
Yeah, that is big question. That's why we are here, to be continued next week. But one truth to me is, I didn't know I would be sitting here talking about God. I didn't know that. And also it becomes much easier. It becomes much easier to manage my life when I see myself. I was born in God's purpose. When I heard that my life is not my own, it's planned, and it is planned by God, and He has purpose. That makes me feel honored. That is the truth I know. And also, even my parents, my husband, my kids are all God's, and also they are in me, just like I am in Jesus. Just like these days I think about Moses and Noah, especially Noah recently. He might look crazy, but because of him, so let's say lives are saved by him. Even they didn't know God's plan. Because of Noah, one person, all people, even clear and non-clear animals are included. So the truth is, kind of, God's heart is planted in me. When I see my parents, I had a terrible relationship with them, but these days when I see them, they are all included in me on the path of God. They were kind of my terrible relationship for me to